All right, we are back with my beloved Tigers. Unfortunately, my Tigers are amongst the worst teams in baseball at this point, with a 8-15 record, I believe now, a half game behind the Cubs in our asshole standings, holding down fifth, last place in our standings. I've been complaining about the Tigers' defense, which has seemed sort of righted the ship over the last week or so. A little bit better defensively. It seemed to have cost them dearly previously, but the real issue that's come to the fore is their offense is unbelievably anemic, as they merely split a doubleheader with the Pittsburgh Pirates in Detroit yesterday. The briefest of 2-game series that finished in one day, with a straight doubleheader. They scored a total of 5 runs in 2 games against the pitiful Pirates. Their offense is to the point where they are now last in the major leagues in slugging at a crisp 316. They are last in home runs with a total of 10 home runs in 23 games. Even when they're on base, they are not even bothering to steal. They have 4 steals on the season, which is last in the majors. That was kind of a hallmark of their aggressiveness on the bases last year is something I really enjoyed, and a lot of fans did with the new regime with AJ Hinch coming in. They're not running, and I don't really understand why. That when the few times they are on base, they're not bothering to run. So it's a frustrating watch at this point, because they're not going to hit the ball out of the park, and if they do get a hit or 2 in an inning, they're probably not going to get that third hit that's going to drive anyone in, because it's just not been happening. The good news for Tigers fans is our bullpen is fucking lights out. Top bullpen ERA, although that may have taken a hit in game 2 last night. But everyone's pretty much firing on all cylinders, even though we've had many injuries. Fortunately, Andrew Chafin, my cult hero who played for both the Cubs and the A's and now is with my Tigers, he looks more like Rod Beck than he ever has now. He's got the full curly mullet now, and the Fu Manchu, where he kind of had a fro with the Cubs, where it's now the mullet. He is 100% shooter too. He's getting back into form, so that's great. The starting pitching has been decent despite having myriad injuries. Now Tyler Alexander is out, moved to the DL. We've had youngsters such as Alex Faedo, who pitched yesterday, finally made his major league debut. Looks solid. We've been waiting for this for about 5 years to see if he could actually stay healthy enough to finally make it to the majors. Good enough. I think it was 5 innings, maybe 2 runs.
Good enough.
I mean, the pitching has been fine, but if you can't score more than 2 runs, what are you going to do? In fact, the Tigers have scored more than 4 runs only once since I was in the ballpark 2 Saturdays ago for the 13-0 drubbing of the Rockies, where Miguel Cabrera got his 3,000th hit. They've scored 5 runs once, and that was against Clayton Kershaw in Los Angeles, of all places, and against all people. That was one of the 2 games they've won since I was there on that fateful Saturday afternoon. So, of course, they lost the series in Los Angeles 2-1. I believe they've lost every series they've been a part of this season. So, dark times. I mean, honestly, this batting order is not as bad as what we've seen so far. There has to be correction.
Is anyone's batting order as bad as what we've seen?
Yeah.
Here's a crazy stat. I'm doing this. Rarely would I make you feel better, because, I take joy out of your misery as you do mine. Yeah. But that's why we do this.
That's why we're Major League A-holes.
That's why we're Major League A-holes. But, okay, I'll put it in perspective for you. Lewis Robert, who isn't tearing the ball, tearing it up yet, his OPS is 739 or 726. It's 19 points higher than the league average.
Yeah.
That's how bad hitting is right now. That's how low hitting is right now. And
Well,
goddamn fucking humidors.
well, that's part of it. But somehow the Tigers are affected more than others because we are at the bottom of all those statistical categories I brought up. So
And you
we're the
are
worst of the
still
worst.
you good news. You are still number one in relief, 2.26.
Yeah.
Number two is the Yankees at 2.30.
Wow. Unfortunately, that relief staff can't rarely comes into play with a lead where it actually means anything. The one time they did, I did a whole breakdown last week where we lost the most ridiculous ninth inning rally ever in Minnesota. So it's a frustrating existence, but like you said, it's early.
It's early. You're not the Cincinnati Reds. They haven't won two games. They have not won 2 games in a row this
They
year.
have won 3 games for their entire season. In fact, we might need to start a regular Reds embarrassment count, like segment every week.
Well,
Is
we could because it
I think they're
plays
three and
into
21 now.
they're in the NL Central, so
Yeah,
it
this
it
week in
works.
embarrassment in the Reds country. I'll work on that. Yeah, there's got to be something there, but
You might want to be careful though, because if the Cubs go in there and lose like 3 out of 4, then who's embarrassed?
somehow I don't think that's going to happen. But
I don't either, but I'm just saying.
well, that's all I really have for the Tigers this week. Will hopefully the change in weather. I can say, looking at the forecast here in Michigan, the weather is getting better. We're going to be in the 70s most of the way starting next week, so maybe that'll have an effect. Tigers are on their way to Houston to play tonight. Actually, first pitch here is maybe in 10 minutes. Um, Houston is still a pretty damn decent team. I don't see any reason why the Tigers would prevail in this 4 game series, but who knows? Stranger things have happened. Maybe somehow AJ Hinch returning home kickstarts this offense. Not sure what the scientific correlation is there, but there is hope, I guess.
Word Hole Media.